Why are people starving in Britain?
We try not to eat a lot in one day, even though most of us are really hungry.
Why do 1.6 million people need to go to food banks to survive? Why are people in full-time employment struggling to afford food for their families?
I'm a nurse who I can't manage on the salary I have. I have to go to food banks.
Why was a woman found dead from starvation next to her malnourished baby? And why do we accept this as normal? I'm tired of the excuses. If people aren't paid enough to afford food, then we can raise the minimum wage and support trade unions. If people are unemployed or can't work, then we can increase the benefits that they are paid so they don't have to choose between buying food or heating their flat. If people's rents are too high, then we can build more council houses instead of luxury flats. We can do all of this and more. Why haven't we? It's because this government believes that if you are poor, it's your fault. Now, we've always known that the Conservatives are out of touch.
The typical user of food bank is not someone that's languishing in poverty, it's someone who has a cash flow problem episodically.
How much is a loaf of bread?
It depends what's. I can tell you the price of a bottle of champagne.
But last week they revealed their absolute contempt for the poor when Conservative MP Kevin Hollinrake was asked why his government weren't doing more to help hungry children. He replied, "Where they can, it's a parent's job to feed their children." What he's saying is he thinks that if a child goes hungry, clearly the parents are just bad people. He can't possibly comprehend the financial hardship that his government's policies have caused. How years of austerity have left people struggling to survive. But then such understanding might be too much to ask from somebody who literally lived in a castle. In Sheffield, where I live, there are 18 food banks. There are over 2,000 in the whole of the UK. That's more food banks than there are branches of McDonald's. Britain is one of the richest countries in the world. Nobody should have to rely on charity to feed themselves. Share this video and let the government know we aren't going to accept their excuses anymore.
The Labour Party cannot be more conservative than the Conservatives. 5 years ago, Labour was a pro-austerity party, opposed to public ownership. Now the Conservative Party say they oppose austerity. They've started taking railways into public ownership and have even said they want a Green New Deal. Now we know that while the Conservatives may steal our ideas, they don't deliver on them. And if Labour is to win the next election in 2024, we will need to show how we're different. Now is not the time to backtrack. We need a future where Black Lives Matter, where we take racism seriously and stamp it out. We need a future that's fair and safe for all workers and where our trade unions have our support. We need a future that protects our planet and rebuilds our economy with a Green New Deal committed to carbon neutrality by 2030. We need to give young people hope for the future and fight for rent controls and the abolition of tuition fees. If this pandemic has taught us anything, it's that Britain needs socialist policies more than ever. It's time to build a Labour Party that can fight for the future we need.